If you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering, can you still book meetings and appointments on Facebook? The answer is absolutely. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through a detailed roadmap on how to build an optimized profile on Facebook and book anywhere between 3 and 6 appointments every single day. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the content strategy, the prospecting method, even the messaging you should be using with these leads so you can make it impossible not to book 3+ meetings every single day. All right, so let's start off with the 50-foot overview. The goal with prospecting and the way to find amazing results with Facebook is by doing the following. The first thing is building trust in you, right? So your goal is to get people to basically fall in love with you. And you're going to do that by inspiring, motivating, educating, and getting people to be more familiar with you. And having a detailed roadmap on the type of content that you should be posting on how to actually acquire this. And then from there, you want to show how good you are, right? So you should be sharing your client results. You should be sharing your client story-based case studies. So don't just say, hey, my client lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks, or hey, my client made $50,000 in a week. Walk us through and walk the people and on your friends list through the story of that client. Where were they before? What were some of the struggles that they had? How did you actually walk them through and get them from point A to point B, and do some storytelling there? And then from there, show them what to do next, right? So you should have a group. I recommend creating a free Facebook group and make kind of post weekly or other, daily even, of just value driven stuff, going live, doing Q&As, offering freebies, and offering people the opportunity to directly work with you. And then show them your personal life, right? So it's not just about educating and providing value. Show your face, show your family, show your backstory, show what you're doing. You're basically bringing people into the vulnerable side of yourself, and show what you're up to and when you're up to it. Don't just post business stuff. No one gives a shit about it until they give a shit about you. Keep that in mind, and overthink it. Don't overthink it. All right. So what do I want to pose might be the answer for you, right? So ultimately speaking, what I'm kind of getting at here is building a strategy and building out your game plan every single week when it comes to content. Is going to make your life a lot easier. But essentially, you're building a hub on Facebook of value and also personal storytelling for people to kind of come to you. And that's the best part about Facebook prospecting. If done correctly, you can build a serious strategy. All right, so now let's get into the content strategy, right? So this is Notion here, and this is actually an example of my weekly content strategy. You can ignore the message here at the top, but I just built out a 3-week content strategy growth plan that I have my VA actually posting on my page. And I've basically broken it into different types of content. There's the transformational content, right? There's engagement posting, there's change your worldview, there's 2 steps, there's client wins, there's value post. Each post has its own kind of reasoning, right? So if we actually open this up, a transformational post a lot of the time is whenever you're sharing a moment in your life where you were struggling before and now you are farther or have accomplished or overcame a particular issue. These posts go on my personal page, and from there we get leads and people engaging and interacting with that. Then there's the engagement post where you're basically just asking people a question, right? So if you can pinpoint one thing that's stopping you from exploring your business, what would it be? Engagement post is just to get people talking and sharing their opinions. Change worldview is really cool. So changing the worldview is where you start to build authority. When you tell people or you kind of debunk a common myth or common misconception in your niche, let's say we're using the fitness niche, for example. Let's say a common misconception is dieting, right? Fads and juicing. Maybe you make a changing worldview on the juicing isn't the best for losing weight, right? So for me, this is an example that I'm using here. And then we have what we call a 2-step post. A 2-step post is basically when you give people the opportunity, and this is where we get a lot of leads from, is by saying, hey, who would like a free training on XYZ? Or hey, who would like me to give them a brief walkthrough on how to overcome blank pain point, right? So for this one, I put together, a sheet of 20 scroll stopping hooks that you might, that you can use right now to improve your short form content. Comment hooks and I'll send it over. And this normally gets like 20 to 40 people commenting, say, hey, hooks. And then boom, you go in there and you can start DMing and messaging people. We'll get into the messaging formula in just a moment. There is the client wins, right? So this is an example of a client win, talking about how this particular client was struggling with time management, and we helped her overcome the time management issues with her short form content, get more reach and attention. And then there's just a straight value post, just giving people information and tips on how they can improve their content. Little piece of advice for you guys: using ChatGPT is a great way to help kind of format your content and making sure the scripting and value that you're presenting to people flows really well, right? And you kind of rinse and repeat that. I like posting Monday through Friday. Sometimes you can post even on Saturday. I avoid Sundays. A lot of people don't really spend too much time on Sunday, depending depending on how big your friends list is. But this is the type of content that you should be posting. All right, from there, we get into the messaging formula. So the goal here, again, with Facebook prospecting is pretty simple. You want to go into groups, add people based off of the interactions that you're having. So you can make posts inside the Facebook group, you can share wins, you could go and basically in a variety of different Facebook groups and just engage in those groups and even respond to some of the group members that have particular questions or concerns. And you're looking to add about 30 to 50 people a day. And you're not just going to go into the member section and start spam adding people. Again, you want to leave posts inside people's Facebook groups and engage with them, and also get people to join your Facebook group. The name of the game is building your friends list. The max amount of friends that you can add on Facebook is 5,000. The bigger that list is, the more likely people are going to engage on your personal profile when you're making posts like this that you see here. Right? So you build up your friends group or your friends list with enough people that are engaging in these other groups, and I'm going to show you how to prospect and find groups in just a moment. And then we follow this messaging formula. Before I share that messaging formula with you guys, let's go into the Facebook group prospecting section, right? So finding people to join in Facebook groups is fairly easy. I am using a tool, by the way, called Newsfeed Eradicator that kind of blocks out my newsfeed. So if you're wondering why it says that, that's why. But obviously going into groups and searching and finding people is not too hard, right? So as you can see, I have a couple different group searches here. Let's say I type in something like content marketing and I go to groups. Ideally, the better groups are the ones that are privated and have people posting regularly in them. And then basically you can go in and scroll and find groups that you're looking for. So for example, I'm looking up content marketing. What you can also do as well is go into groups, and sometimes Facebook does a really good job suggesting groups to you based off the ones that you're interacting with. So if I go to discover here, I can find a bunch of different suggested groups that are going to be ideal. Normally you're going to see them here at the top of more suggestions, and you can see and go through and actually see all the suggested groups that they have you going through. So depending on what you're engaging with, that's what you're going to see. Sometimes they're going to give you random stuff as well that isn't too good. So what you can always do is exit and just say not related. And that way they will start to curate your recommendations of groups. Obviously you want to join these groups, don't spam your offer. Don't do that. You're going to get kicked out of groups. All you want to do is interact with the group and use the groups for what they're there for, right? So if you're joining a weight loss group, you're just going to make a post randomly every single day. What I do is I have my appointment setter, a VA that manages conversations for me. I have her join a handful of groups, and every week we pick 5 groups for that week that we're going to go into and ask questions and just engage with those people with questions or concerns in those groups. And then from there, what we end up doing is adding those people, right? So if we ask a question or we engage with those people, we can add them, and then they're more likely to add us back because they saw our interaction in the Facebook group, right? And we're just slowly adding enough people every single day, 30 to 50 people a day from these groups of active, engaged leads that are questioning certain things and we could potentially help them with. And then from there, we follow a pretty simple messaging formula that gets them either into our group or gets them on a booked appointment. Here's the messaging conversation. We actually build out messaging scripts for all our clients at the DBA. If you're someone looking to book more appointments, if you're a coach or consultant struggling to book appointments and you need assistance, in the description of this video, you can schedule a free call with one of our team members, and we walk you through a messaging script for any social media platform that you're looking to prospect on. But here's just a rough walkthrough on this. So messaging conversation script worksheet, right? So first thing is inefficiencies. When we're messaging people, everyone gets messaged on Facebook every single day. Right? There's a million people code outreaching and code outbounding, and you've probably gotten tons of messages that you just ignore because it's probably a hard pitch or sell. What we're looking to do is, because we've already established some type of relationship with this lead, we engage with them in some type of other group. Now, when we reach out, it's not going to be too foreign to them. It's not going to be like, who the heck is this random person messaging me? They know that we're engaged with them inside of a group. We share some similarities and they're somewhat familiar to us. And one thing that I'm almost forgot to mention is the optimization of your profile, which I'll circle back to in just a moment. So looking for some type of inefficiencies. So just starting off conversations, just keep this in mind that you're kind of trying to poke a hole into what certain things that they're doing for whatever your niche is, you could potentially help them with. So starting off the convo, you want to create familiarity. Hey, blank, hope you're doing well. For our particular niche, we asked, do you run a company? Did you run a company before? Company name. So if we see that they have a company on their profile, we'll ask that. Or, hey, name, how long have you been running a company for? Seems really solid, right? And we are getting this information from their profile. So we look at the profile and it says, oh, they run XYZ company. We'll ask this question. If you're in a different niche, if you're a coach inside a different niche, you use some type of personalization. How long have you been on your weight loss journey? Or how long have you been in the career space? Or how long have you been in XYZ? And then you can also, which is optional, leave a comment on the profile, just again, to make it seem more natural and not like you're just mass messaging, because people absolutely hate that. From there, once they respond, you're just going to do some qualifying and identifying inefficiencies, right? So So once they respond, oh, I've been running a business for about 3 years now. Okay, cool. How are you currently acquiring clients to that business? Or what are your other social media ads? Or how well is your offer resonating with the people on sales calls, right? Because we're a content marketing agency, we find number two works really well. Like, oh, really? That's cool. What are your social medias? I would love to look you up. And from there, it opens up a rabbit hole for us to kind of pickpocket some things that they're doing on their profile that we can help optimize. And then share some new insight. Number one way to get people to book a call is to build some familiarity by engaging with them in some type of group, adding them as a friend, right? Maybe interacting with their profile, starting a brief conversation and know a little about them. And then from there, just pointing out any type of inefficiencies that they may be facing and then educating them. That's the biggest thing. If you can educate a prospect on a particular problem that they may be having or something that they've been maybe struggling for a while, they're going to be way more receptive and way more likely to book a call with you. All right, so share some new insider process like a case study or create curiosity. This is important. If you can create some type of interest, you basically want to let them know about the results they're missing. Let them know about how we solve it through the 4 components to make an offer valuable, right? So these are the best ways to help a prospect when it comes to creating efficiencies, reducing sacrifice, increasing value, probability of success, and speed, right? So have you ever heard of this process before? That's a question we like to ask as we segue into inefficiencies. So what workflow would look like is we might ask someone, how long have you been running a business for? 3 years. Or 2 years. And then we'll go and say, awesome, do you have a social media page that you run with this? Most people create short form content now, so that's why we ask. And they'll likely be able to say to us, yeah, I've been running a TikTok for, the last couple of months. And from there, we could ask another question or just simply ask them, how's that been going for you so far? They, a lot of time, are going to probably tell us, it's going okay. I'm not the best. Most business owners ultimately suck at short form content. It's okay because business owners, it's not their job to be good at short form content. But we will come in and say, oh, yeah, let me take a look at your social media if you don't mind. I'll give that a quick look through, and then we'll look through it and provide some tips like, oh yeah, I see what you're doing here, but have you tried this strategy before? We find that most people that do this strategy actually get more sales to their business. And like, oh no, really? I haven't heard about that strategy. Or what strategy is that? Once they start questioning and asking, that's when you got them on the hook, right? And we've broken it down into a couple different formats: social media traction, offer, or conversations with the audience. So you should be looking at the 3 biggest inefficiencies that your target audience faces on a day-to-day. From there, you're trying to pinpoint the type of roadblocks that a coach or whoever your target market is struggling with. So we normally see that they struggle with social media traction, offer creation, or conversations with their audience. That's what we've been able to break it down to 3 things like that. Once you've highlighted some of the inefficiencies and they build some curiosity, just ask for a 15-minute chat for a personalized walkthrough. So never pitch a call unless you have 2 to 3 inefficiencies and you've talked about how you can solve them. So you want to present the value first and highlight issues that they may be facing that they might have not been aware of, right? That's the key. If you can highlight something they weren't aware of prior to speaking with you, you're going to be way more likely to look at you as someone that can help solve that. And then for number 4, when you're getting ready to pitch the call after you've discovered the inefficiencies, just simply offer it as a personalized walkthrough, guys. Personalized roadmap, personalized walkthrough. That is the number one way. We've tested so many ways to offer a call. This has worked time and time again across all niches. Personalized walkthrough or personalized roadmap, rather. Right? So, hey, would you be open for a quick 15 to 20 minute walkthrough? I can kind of make a personalized walkthrough for you, showing you exactly how you can overcome this based off of the information I have so far. Right? So this is exactly what we say. Are you free sometime this week for a 15-minute chat? It's important that we say this week, right? Even if it's a Thursday or whatever, try to get them to get on call with you sooner rather than later. So even if you could do it that same day, that's the key, because the attention span of these leads, it's very hard. Once you grab someone's attention, it's very hard to keep it. So you want to get that call within the next 48 hours. Hey, do you have time today to chat? Okay, maybe your calendar is packed. Do you have time tomorrow to chat? Right? Be as specific as possible and tell them what time. Don't leave it up to them to decide. Don't just send your calendar like, hey, pick a time that works best for you. Ask them first and kind of direct them to the time that works. Right? So 15-minute chat, I can walk you through how we go about implementing the process. I think it can help you solve current issue or inefficiency. Let me know if you are, and I can share with you the booking link. Always ask for permission. Never just send people links or send people anything. Ask permission first. And then from there, awesome, here's my link. Let me know if you can't find a time that works. And this is kind of the follow-up sequence we like to follow. Within 30 minutes of sending that link, you don't see someone book, you want to follow up with them because the time is ticking. The more time that goes between sending the link and then, the time that goes after that, the faster you get them on the call, the more likely they'll show up. The more time that goes by, the more likely they're going to cancel, reschedule, or maybe not even book in the first place. If you can't find a time that works, I can help you, and then send like some type of GIF or emoji. So that's what we normally see. We like to send a GIF. Sometimes it's the Mr. Bean GIF or the ghost emoji. Like, hey, you ghosted me. Like, that's kind of the thought thought process there to kind of break any tension if they're deliberately ignoring you. That's what we use for messaging. So again, just as a quick recap, the workflow here is to optimize your profile, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. Optimize your profile, join multiple Facebook groups every single day, and start to add people and grow your friends list. You want to also be posting to your profile because you're going to be using that as somewhat of a funnel. When people normally start a conversation with a new person on Facebook, the first thing they're going to check is your profile. And even if they don't check your profile, if you add them, you're essentially building an asset, which is your Facebook friends list. You can think of it almost like an email list. You're building an asset because every time you post, that friend is gonna have a strong chance of seeing your content on their feed. And then that's gonna also nurture people and also potentially get eyeballs and people to raise their hands down the line. So even if you add someone and you message them and they don't message you back, they might see your post down, a week from now, and you can, message them through that process as well. All right, so let's talk about Facebook page optimization. It's pretty simple to optimize a Facebook page. This is what we got here for a Facebook page. We're testing a bunch of different Facebook accounts. This is the one I got right now. Optimize profile and banner. So nice picture of yourself, nice banner about what you do and how you help people. If you have a Facebook group, which I recommend having that be able to be clickable. So when someone clicks on your banner, there is the option to the Facebook group. And then just posting content, right? This is so important. Having content being posted on your page, and then also optimizing here on the left with social medias, Facebook groups, websites, all that stuff to just make you seem and feel like a real life human and posting content all the time. That's all you really need for Facebook optimization. It's pretty simple there. But yeah, that's what we do for prospecting. I hope this provided a lot of insight on how you can book meetings every single day. You got to be consistent with this stuff and continuously grow your list. Right now on this account, we only have 754 friends, but we personally manage multiple Facebook pages and accounts. And even at like 1,500 or 2,000 friends, we're seeing such great results as far as daily bookings. So it's just about optimizing and growing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I have more value on how to acquire clients and sales coming up very soon. So make sure you subscribe for that.